Well, good morning. It is Monday morning around about 5:45, as you can see from the clock behind me. Pretty hard getting up this morning, pretty tired. Watched the news, well, constantly over the weekend. There was a news report out last night, just before, I think it was the 10 o'clock news, that there was a meeting of the five major central banks in the world, and that the US had cut interest rates by, I think, a 4%. Or thereabouts to zero. So I'm expecting some serious fallout this morning. When I checked the charts, didn't check them last night, but I know there were a couple of Sig 1 opportunities setting up, and I suspect there'll be opportunities setting up this morning. So I need to make a quick coffee. I need to get upstairs to the office, and I need to get working. So it's around about 6:15. Yes, Maxie, it's about 6:15. Kids' bath time. Just reporting in my CAD Swiss franc short. It's kind of gone down a bit, sideways a little bit. It's kind of stagnating, just waiting for that to make a direction of travel as to which way it's going to go. It's a very, very strange market at the moment, given coronavirus and given the interest rate cut that the US did. It's kind of thrown the market into a state of confusion. In other news, the cable short that I have on, I'll show that in a second, is progressing nicely down to initial target. There's that cable short progressing to its initial target. This is on a range break strategy. And then finally, I have a couple of Sig 1 trades on, one I put on this morning and one which is a hangover from previous weeks. So I'll just dive into those now. In fact, it looks like I might have been stopped out of one of those. Let's look. And the good news is I haven't been stopped out. Euro Swiss franc has closed underneath that 3-year low. Looks like it almost hit my stop, but looks like it might be making a little bit of a comeback. Then my other Sig 1 trade, this is short pound Aussie dollar, big Z bearish candle at around on the 3-year high. Also rejected the 2.0000 level. I shorted off that this morning, and that trade now sits in profit. So Sig 1 playing out quite nicely on that pair now. So that's pretty much it for today. Nothing to do now until the morning market analysis. The world continues to react and respond to the coronavirus. We are watching the news all the time. I've not been out of the house today. Haven't got the coronavirus, touch wood. But people are being instructed not to travel or not to go out unless they have to, which makes it perfect when you're trading the markets, because you don't actually need to go anywhere. And when you think about, when I've watched on the TV, some of the stories of people who've got businesses that rely on people coming in and buying coffee or cinema or whatever in social settings, which a lot of businesses do, I guess it reinforces the fact that trading gives you that freedom to trade the markets, whatever market conditions, providing you've got the discipline and consistency and rules to do so. So in a bullish market, you can trade. In a bearish market, you can trade. In a risk-on market, you can trade. In a risk-off market, you can trade. And that's what I'm trying to do. But anyway, tomorrow's another day. We'll see what happens by the morning. I'll be up bright and early tomorrow morning. Well, it is Tuesday around about 6:15, and what another crazy 24 hours. The news just seems to get worse and worse and worse. Coronavirus is taking hold. More stuff is being enacted here in the UK in terms of advice on social distancing and whatnot, to try and protect the population and restrict the spread of the virus, primarily to protect the elderly and to alleviate what will be untold pressure on the National Health Service. So very, very difficult time, and pretty much everything that I do has been cancelled. That's business stuff, and even my martial arts training now is taking a break for 2 weeks, an initial 2 weeks. But hey ho, you got to do what you got to do. In terms of the markets, my pound US dollar short I added to this morning. I just show that up on screen. That has hit what I call TE, which is an extreme just inside the low, which is the 3, 5 and 10-year low, which in close proximity to one another. So I took off 50% of the position, made some nice profit. So there was an opportunity to be had in cable. In terms of euro US dollar, I went long this morning. There was a brave hot signal. I took that and was stopped out very, very quickly indeed. But the gain on cable and the gain that I still have on cable has more than paid for that loss. So you win some, you lose some, providing you lose more providing you win more when you win and lose less when you lose, then that's what trading is all about. Got to be prepared to take a loss, got to be prepared to be in the game. So I'll throw that trade up now and just explain that, and also talk about my CAD Swiss franc short, which is also still in play. So here's euro dollar. Went long this morning. Price had closed above the 200 simple moving average yesterday. Green candle, bottom of what I'd identified as the daily trend line. Hey, market reversed, never went anywhere. And stopped me out. This is that's the daily chart. Daily trade actually, Braveheart trade. So that was a very, very, very quick stop out. CAD Swiss franc shorts. This is kind of sideways action, albeit the trend looks to be down. This is on the 240 chart. So I'm just holding. We're kind of getting close to the initial target. Once the initial target is hit, if it is hit, I will take off 50% of the position and roll my stop to entry. I have what's called TE here, which is target at the extreme, just inside the SIG 1 level, where I take off the remaining 50% of the position. So that will be a quarter of the position if we were to get down there and I hadn't added. So not really sure what's going on with this trade. Slightly disappointing, slightly frustrating, but I still think there's a good possibility that we'll get to that initial target. On my SIG 1 trades, I'm still in the game. Long euro Swiss franc, was nearly stopped out of that yesterday, but still in the game. Pound Aussie, short, despite the weakness in the pound. The Aussie appears to be weaker. Shorted off that Z candle on the SIG 1 level. But this is a weekly trade. It's Tuesday. Did I say Wednesday or Tuesday? If I said Wednesday at the start of this clip, or the previous clip, it is actually Tuesday. Shorted off that. It's a weekly trade, so there's still 3 days in the week before that candle closes. We'll see where we end up. Don't make any decisions on this until the close of the week. So that's pretty much it for Tuesday. Interesting times, very difficult times, unprecedented times, but there is a market open, there is a currency market open. And beauty of currencies is you can trade them either way. Problem with stocks, as I mentioned before, shorting stocks is difficult. You're kind of backing a company to fail, which doesn't quite feel right. And shorting is an art in stocks, and not something that I have very much experience of. In currencies, shorting a pair or going long is exactly the same thing, just in reverse. And I find it much more comfortable to short a currency than I would do a stock, from a technical perspective and also from a moralistic perspective. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna sign off for today. Bath the kids, routine, and see where the market opens tomorrow. Well, good morning. It is Wednesday morning, around about 20 to 9. Did the morning market analysis this morning. Another day, another dollar, and it is really all about the dollar. The US dollar, despite the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 1%, is strong. It looks to be the safe haven currency that people are, or one of the safe haven currencies that people are buying. Japanese yen and Swiss franc, kind of mixed. Still some moves into those currencies. But it is really all about the US dollar, and that could be, given their rather, their very strong approach to trying to deal with this coronavirus. Anyway, I've entered another I've entered a new strategy this morning, which I'm calling my rocket strategy, and I'll pull that up on screen in the moment. Pull that up on screen at the moment. In a moment. There we go. Basically, what I've noticed is in these volatile markets where price is moving very directional in one direction, it's pretty difficult in a downward trend or an upward trend to catch the full house strategy. And price is breaking out of the daily trend line and continuing down or up, short or long, in the direction of travel. Price is showing on the daily trend line, and I don't have an opportunity to take advantage of this. So hence this rocket strategy, which I use when price is out of, or is broken out of the daily trend line, but is continuing in the direction of travel. So just had a trade triggered on Aussie dollar, US dollar. I've sold this on a sell stop, so sold below the market. That's now triggered, and it's kind of a 50-50 as to whether that trade will get to where it's going by the end of the day, which is my initial target, or I'll be stopped out. But I've got another one waiting in the wings on US dollar CAD. That's been very bullish over the last week or so. So I'll show you those now. So here we are on Aussie dollar. I set a stop 20 points above the previous 5 candles, last 24 hours. Is that right? Yeah, or around that, last 24 hours or so. And I set a sell stop below that range. That sell stop's now triggered. It's looking like a YX candle on the 240 chart. Conditions for this trade is that price has to be on the right side of the 10 exponential moving average, which is the orange dashed line, has to be in line with Mag 7, and also has to have IG in focus. So on Aussie dollar, US dollar, the IG sentiment indicator is S star. So now looking to transcend down to the initial target. My stop is outside and above the 0.6000 even handle. So I think there's a good possibility that this market may break down. That's exactly what it's been doing all week so far. So we'll see where we get to. On US dollar CAD, got a similar setup, waiting in the winds, not quite triggered yet, but outside of the daily trend line, and looking potentially to press up to that higher SIG 1 level, but yet to trigger. My other trades are still in play from earlier in the week, and yeah, pound yesterday was very profitable. Cable that looks to be pushing down again today, so may have an opportunity. This is a daily chart trade, may have the opportunity to add to that tomorrow, but roll my stop. That's a win-win trade now, whatever happens. So yeah, just in terms of the markets, just trying to follow the direction of travel. Try not to get emotional about it, just to follow the signals, and we'll see how that rocket signal plays out today. But given what's happened previously, given the bearish intent on Aussie dollar, given the bullish intent on US dollar, I think there's a good chance that that Aussie trade could hit target. I think US dollar CAD as well, it's been all upward movement, so I think there's a good chance that we could get to a trigger point, that buy stop is triggered, and we head up to the initial target. In about 15 minutes, got a meeting. All of my meetings have been cancelled. My meetings in London with ICAW, Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. Got a council meeting this morning, which is a digital meeting. That starts at 9, finishes about 1. So that's a 4-hour meeting online. That's quite a long haul meeting for a digital meeting, but that's the world we live in. And pretty much everybody I talk to now has shut up shop. People are working from home, and there is potentially huge pressure on the economy. In terms of my other businesses, my career coaching stuff, that will take a hit, no doubt. The job market slows in times of trouble, and people are focused elsewhere. It's kind of panic mode. So yeah, trading is the focus, and where there's a market and where there's an opportunity to go long or short in a market, there is always a potential opportunity, and that's what I'm looking to capitalize on. So I'll check back later, see where those trades have got to, but now off to the meeting. Well, good morning. It is Thursday morning around about 7:15. Morning market analysis done. Overnight news is that the Australian bank, central bank, has cut interest rates by 0.25% from 0.5 to 0.25. Central banks cutting rates all over the shop, but the US dollar, Federal Reserve in the US did that about a few days ago, start of the week, by 1%, which is kind of unheard of. So central banks really trying to combat the impact of coronavirus and the effects on their currency. I was short Australian dollar yesterday on this new rocket strategy that I'm playing. Stopped out of that now, but made money on that trade. So what I'm looking at is following my rules and just taking short-term increments out of the market and just following my signals and trying to ignore the news that's going off. What's interesting with the rate cut that the Federal Reserve did, the rate cut that the central bank in Australia did, Reserve Bank of Australia, I always get that wrong, yeah, Reserve Bank of Australia, is that normally when a central bank cuts its rate, it weakens the currency. But in both instances, the currency got stronger. So the US dollar got stronger, Australian dollar got stronger. There's some offers against Aussie now, but the initial reaction was kind of the opposite way that you'd expect, which just shows the opposite way that you'd expect, which just shows how messed up currency markets are at the moment and how scared people really are about this coronavirus. So I popped out this morning to pay a check into the bank, and the whole place is pretty empty. This car park is usually full, but very, very quiet. Very, very, very worrying. My wife's tried to get a doctor's appointment today. Can't get one. They're not seeing patients. It feels like things are grinding to one almighty halt. I this morning have put a rocket entry, a sell stop on the pound. The pound descended rapidly yesterday, so when I get home I'll see what's happened there. Both of my SIG1 trades have been stopped out, unfortunately, but yeah, I'll be doing a quick review and update when I get back to the ranch in a bit. Wow, that was bright. Well, good morning. Friday morning. Pretty tired. Didn't really sleep that well. I didn't feel I slept that well. It's been a good week in the markets. Been a bad week for the country, but it's been a good week in the markets. If you're short, that is. I've been shorting cable. They cut, or the Bank of England cut interest rates yesterday, now 0.1%. So we're at, I think, a 35-year low in cable at the moment, and the lowest interest rate in history, 0.1%. So central banks cutting rates all over the shop. Oh goodness me, cough. Hope that's not something it shouldn't be. The coronavirus thing continues to dominate the news, dominate the market nervousness, and I'm up this morning to see where the market's got to, and to take advantage of any opportunities that present themselves. It was day before yesterday, I set 2 rocket trades, my new strategy. They trigger with a buy stop or a sell stop. Both of those trades won. I think one of those trades I'm still in, one of them I'm out of. So that trade seems to be, well, that strategy seems to be performing okay so far, or very good so far. This morning, taking the kids to school, got a meeting with the builder to pick some windows for the new house, and then it's back to barracks, back to what everybody pretty much is doing at the moment, and that's staying indoors and not doing too much. These videos, I guess the backdrop is going to be quite boring for the next 12 weeks while this coronavirus thing plays out. I do like to do the videos when I'm out and about in London or wherever else, but unfortunately there's no travel, there's not a lot going on. So let's have a coffee, get into the markets. Last day at school then, boys, for 3 months maybe. All right, let's go, Sammy. So the kids have been dropped off for their last day at school. They're pretty happy. I'm not particularly happy. Could have them home for 12 weeks. Our meeting this morning to go and look at windows was cancelled. Everything's cancelled. But hey ho, back to the charts. My pound US dollar, my cable short was stopped out. This was my range break strategy. About 1,150 pips in this trade, and I caught as a percentage. Where is it? Not sure what I caught. I caught quite a few of those pips. £2,853 profit on that trade, which covers the losses on my SIG 1 trades that were in play. Yeah, cost of sales, call it whatever you will. Now's the opportunity to look for another opportunity on cable, but good trades, range break strategy, moving from range to bearish on the daily chart, and capitalized on that. I'd also done a rocket strategy on the intra-day that lost, but overall that was a profitable outing on cable. So just entered a long position on US dollar Japanese yen. I'll pull that up in a moment. That's a full house strategy. Got in slightly late on that, but I think it's got a good prospect of hitting target, and I'll talk about that now. So here we are, this full house strategy, US dollar Japanese yen. Entered slightly after the close of the Z candle, which was on the middle of the daily trend line center. Goodness me, coughing, that's not good news. I think there's a good prospect we can get a 1-to-1 to hit the top of that resistance level. So I'm bid on this. I made a slight mistake in my pip calculation, so my risk is slightly below the normal 2%. So I'm just going to hang on and see whether we hit that target, or whether I need to exit on a reverse. So just after 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, and the trade I put on this morning, US dollar Japanese yen long, just hit target, which is nice. There was a bit of pressure initially, but went to bids, trading with the trend, which is always the best thing to do, higher probability thing to do. Roll the stop to entry and emails. Roll the stop to entry, and waiting to see what happens. So pretty much I'm flat now. Yeah, out of all. In fact, I'm not. What am I talking about? I'm not flat. I'm still in US dollar Japanese yen long, but aside from that, I'm flat. My SIG 1 trades have all finished up. I need to do some reconciliation at the weekend, but at the moment, it's looking like I'm up for this month, which is good news. Confined to barracks, the kids are about to arrive back from school for what could be a 12-week vacation that would run into the summer holidays. I can't believe it, but anyway, that's where we are. So just trying to make the best of things and taking advantage of opportunities that present themselves in the market. Going to be a pretty quiet weekend. There's not really a lot to do, and there's rumours that the country could be locked down, which means that you're not really allowed to leave the house. If that's the case, then yeah, it's going to be quite a boring weekend. But hey ho, we are where we are. We got to defeat this coronavirus, and if that's the best advice, that's the best advice. Well, ahead of the house move, if it does happen anytime soon, put the stuff in storage. So the school's closed, so probably due to coronavirus, so we're going to have to play here. Morning. It is Sunday morning, and I've just popped out to buy some light bulbs and some other essentials that we are starting to run out of. Caught the news on the way in that in Italy 5,000 people have now died from this virus, and yeah, 800 in the last 24 hours, which is very, very worrying indeed. indeed. But life, I guess, has got to go on. It's pretty quiet here this morning, but people are keeping their distance from one another. It's a strange old world we live in currently, so I hope this thing passes very, very soon indeed. So it's like passport control in B&Q. 2 metre line out. You've got to stand 2 meters behind the line at the till in case of COVID-19 infection. It really is a strange old world we live in at the moment, but it doesn't seem to stop people driving around like complete and utter maniacs. So trying to find things to do today, popped up to the house, which is starting to take shape, and now going to take this pair to play football at their school. All right, not too high. Here we go. Oh. Ready? Okay, go. Come on, man. Oh my word. Go on, actually spin.
Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.